Hi there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome back. It's another Red Pill Religion podcast. This is MacFarlane solo. We're going to take tonight off mostly because it's Good Friday and a special day. By the way, whether you appreciate it or not, I've put you all in my rosary intentions for the day. I pray it every day with help from my son when we read the Bible together. Even if you're an unbeliever, don't worry, I'm still praying for you. And if you don't like me praying for you, too bad. Just want to do a quick review though of the week, and I might do something like this every Friday. We'll see. We have interesting shows most nights. Sometimes we don't have the best. Sometimes but even our boring shows are usually pretty good, at least on here on the main Red Pill Religion channel. And I just wanted to go over some of the things the shows we've done in the last week. In case you haven't checked us out, there's links in the low bar. We had a great conversation with Bay MacFarlane of Mary's Advocates a couple of days ago, talking about the horrible problem of no-fault divorce, how no-fault divorce is really, in most cases, probably unconstitutional, certainly immoral, unethical, unilateral breach of contract right. And while we know that women in the U.S. and parts of Europe are more likely to abuse it than men are, anybody can abuse it. And there's reasons to question it, because you always wind up with the spouse, usually not always, but usually the husband, losing everything: home, kids, having his income taken away so he can barely survive. This is a common problem, and there's ways to fight it. And the folks at Mary's Advocates have solutions, especially if you're religious. But even if you're not religious, there's awesome information. Check out our interview with Bay MacFarlane. Another one to look at. We had two streams on Jews this week that are both worth seeing. First, last Saturday, on the evening after Shabbos, we had a great talk with our friend Rabbi Yehoshaphat Oliver. I said it wrong. Yehoshaphat, I think it's pronounced. We call him Rabbi Oliver. He's a genuine Orthodox Jew. He's not the only one I know. The main comment I would make for people who say anti-Jewish stuff is to start realizing there's more than one kind of Jew. They're not all alike, and they don't all like each other. And one of the biggest things to learn is that secular atheist Jews, or secular non-religious Jews, or Jews who are into other religions like occultism, Luciferianism, Satanism, and that sort of thing, are all different, and are distinctly different from religious Jews who believe in the God of Abraham and thinks that's who they're worshiping. And Christians are always a little like not sure what to make of the Jewish religion exactly. But the main thing I would say is, if you're going to be generalizing about Jews, notice the difference. And please notice, as the rabbi here says, Zionism. If you're against Zionism, then religious Jews like him are not your enemy, because he's against Zionism too. It's a secular ideology he can't stand, and there's a lot of very religious Jews who hate Zionism too. Some think the modern state of Israel is a travesty that shouldn't exist at all. Others, more like Rabbi Oliver, are like, well, it's not wrong for us to have a country where Jews are safe and defend ourselves, but the modern nation state of Israel isn't necessarily above any reproach or criticism, and in fact is due to a lot of criticism. And if you follow Rabbi Oliver much, you'll find he's very critical of Israel quite a bit of the time. So if you want to learn things, go check out this interview with Rabbi Oliver. And then for another side of it, please try checking out the conversation we've had with E. Michael Jones, who is not an anti-Semite by any reasonable description. However, he is extremely, speaking from a Christian, specifically a Catholic perspective, extremely critical of the Jewish people, or the Jews as an ethnic group. And a lot of his criticism is criticism of Talmud, but a whole lot of his criticism, I'd say most of it, is of the actions of secular Jews, especially in places like Hollywood and Washington, D.C., and the Zionist element that controls Israel and all that, the modern state of Israel anyway. It's worth getting both of these perspectives, I think. They're two of our better interviews, so I definitely suggest you check them out. Also, I suggest checking out, if you didn't already, see the classic we put up of a takedown of 43 Alley's How I Gave Up Religion. 43 Alley being one of the less obnoxious atheists, but still says a lot of shallow, silly things that could easily be answered. And so that's one of our classic atheist response videos. We also, a lot of you may have missed it, but this weekend we had a fabulous interview with Ewan Jones, a sociologist who looks at issues like feminism and other things going on the ground within the UK, talking about things and talking with people you don't normally get to hear about there in the UK. And it was a splendid interview, and Ewan's a really great fellow. Go check out his channel while you're at it. So and of course, on Monday, we had our usual time stream with John C. Wright, author, award-winning author, lawyer, philosopher, and all-around good guy. We're here with him every Monday night for now, although we may be going back to Wednesdays within the next few weeks. The bottom line is we're here all the time, and I want to make a plea to you. If you have the ability, please go ahead and hit our Bitcoin chip jar or join us on Subscribestar. Or hit our Bitcoin jar if you have a chance. You'll find it all on redpillreligion.com. Tomorrow, just so you all know, I will be getting together with an old men's rights activist acquaintance and sometime ally, Adam Bulford, as we discuss the issue of atheism versus theism within a community that calls itself free speech, and probably within the context of men's rights, because one of the many things I've said is in terms of free speech, atheists and others spend a lot of time ragging on, bagging on, attacking, smearing, snorting, laughing at, and mocking religious people. Within a free speech context, atheists should be willing to take what they give out. And so we're going to be talking about that because Adam doesn't like our style. So that's fine. And he may have some criticism and some feedback that we can use. So please go ahead and check us out. That'll be tomorrow morning Eastern time around 10 o'clock. So anyway, I'm going to say it again. We're continuing here. We're not going to stop no matter what. They can't take us out. We just keep going. We got debates planned with Andrew and Josh with professional atheists coming up in the next few weeks too. So please stay tuned. Please give us a like. Please give us a subscribe. And a little prayer for you all. I'll say one tonight here. Dear Lord, please pray over all the Red Pill Religion team, all of our volunteers, all of our friends, and all of our enemies. Have a great Good Friday, everybody, and God bless. See you in the morning.